At 5:33 on a quiet Sunday morning, a barrage of gunfire shattered the silence of a Miramar neighborhood. Moments later, a green Lamborghini veered off the road and slammed into a house. To anyone arriving at the scene, it looked like a devastating crash. But investigators quickly discovered something even more disturbing. Every person inside the vehicle had been shot before the impact. One of them was 21-year-old social media influencer Brianna "It Girl Bri" Johnson, whose online life had attracted hundreds of thousands of followers only days before her death. Police now believe the attack may have been targeted, yet no arrests have been announced and no motive has been confirmed. Detectives are examining surveillance footage, digital evidence, and a video that appears to show an altercation involving the Lamborghini shortly before the shooting. Was the deadly ambush planned long before the first bullet was fired, or did something happen in the final moments that changed everything? As investigators search for answers, the mystery surrounding Brianna Johnson's final hours continues to deepen. Every clue matters, every second counts, and every unanswered question brings this investigation closer to a truth that someone may be desperately trying to hide. Here we deliver clear, factual, and up-to-date true crime stories. Subscribe and turn on notifications to stay informed on the latest cases and investigations. On the morning of Sunday, July 5th, 2026, 21-year-old Brianna Johnson was shot and killed while riding in a Lamborghini SUV in Miramar, Florida, a city in Broward County near Fort Lauderdale. She was known online as It Girl Bri and Dream Doll Bri, with a combined following of more than 400,000 people across TikTok and Instagram. Two men riding with her were also shot and hospitalized in critical condition. As of this writing, no suspect has been arrested, no motive has been officially confirmed, and the shooter's vehicle has not been recovered. The case has drawn attention for several reasons. The victim's online profile, the high-value vehicle involved, surveillance footage that captured part of the attack, and police statements suggesting the shooting was not random. This report lays out what is confirmed, what is still under investigation, and what is circulating online but unverified. Brianna Johnson built an online audience under the handle It Girl Bri, posting lifestyle, fashion, and beauty content. Some outlets also referred to her as Dream Doll Bri. Her combined TikTok and Instagram following exceeded 400,000 people at the time of her death. Beyond influencer content, Johnson had a foothold in music. She was featured on Bend Over, a track by rapper Sadity Rax that gained traction online and became one of the pieces of content most associated with her name. Several entertainment outlets described her as an emerging music artist, in addition to her work as a content creator, suggesting she was in the early stages of building a recording career alongside her social media presence. Public information about her personal life beyond her online career is limited at this stage. Given her age, 21, and the scale of her following, she fell into a category of young creators who had converted internet visibility into a broader public profile that included music collaborations and a recognizable public identity in South Florida's influencer scene. The shooting occurred in Miramar, a city in Broward County, Florida, located between Fort Lauderdale and Miami. Police responded to the 2,700 block of Sunshine Boulevard. Reported timing has varied slightly by outlet, with most reports placing the shooting between approximately 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. on Sunday, July 5th, 2026. The Miramar Police Department stated officers responded to reports of a shooting along Sunshine Boulevard before 6 a.m. Other outlets, citing preliminary information, placed the shooting closer to 5:30 a.m. This kind of small discrepancy is common in the early hours of a breaking case, before police release a formalized timeline, and should not be read as a contradiction so much as a reflection of how early reporting develops from multiple partial sources. Based on statements from Miramar Police and reporting from local outlets including WSVN7 News, the following sequence has been established: the vehicle and occupants. Johnson was riding in a fluorescent green Lamborghini SUV. 2 men were also inside the vehicle. Reports indicate the group had left an Airbnb party or gathering shortly before the shooting occurred. The pursuit. Surveillance footage obtained by WSVN7 News shows a second vehicle following the Lamborghini down the street. Some reports describe this second vehicle as a white BMW, which police have said they are searching for in connection with the case. The shooting. At some point during this pursuit, gunfire was exchanged or directed at the Lamborghini. Miramar Police Chief Delrish Moss described the gunfire captured on ShotSpotter, the city's gunfire detection system, as rapid and dense enough to wake nearby residents, some of whom initially mistook the sound for fireworks. The crash. After being struck by gunfire, the Lamborghini continued moving, going through a stop sign before crashing into a nearby residential home. The vehicle reportedly traveled roughly 1 additional block between the shooting and the crash. Emergency response. Miramar police officers and Miramar fire rescue personnel responded to the scene. All 3 occupants, 2 men and Johnson, were transported to Memorial Regional Hospital in Hollywood, Florida, in critical condition. The outcome. Johnson's injuries proved fatal. According to loved ones who spoke to WSVN7 News, she succumbed to her injuries on Monday morning, the day after the shooting, rather than immediately at the scene, though some accounts described her as having died at the scene itself. The 2 men were reported to be recovering, with at least one initially listed in critical condition. Chief Moss confirmed that all 3 people in the car were shot, not just Johnson, which is a detail that has been consistent across the more established reporting. Several elements of physical evidence have been referenced in coverage of the case: shell casings and evidence markers. Photos and reporting from the scene describe numerous evidence markers placed by investigators, along with shell casings, indicating a substantial volume of gunfire during the attack. ShotSpotter data. Miramar's gunfire detection technology recorded the shooting, which Chief Moss described as rapid, sustained fire, rather than a small number of shots. The crash site. The Lamborghini came to rest after colliding with a residential home, meaning the scene spanned both the location of the shooting itself and the point of it. Police have not released a description of the shooter or shooters, nor have they confirmed how many people were inside the pursuing vehicle. The investigation remains characterized by authorities as active, with detectives continuing to interview witnesses and review footage. Miramar Police Chief Delrish Moss has been the primary public-facing official in this case. His confirmed statements include confirmation that all 3 people inside the Lamborghini were shot, a description of the gunfire based on ShotSpotter data as rapid fire, acknowledgement that the community was disturbed by the incident, given both its violence and its public profile. Police have consistently described the case as an active investigation and have asked the public to come forward with any information, rather than confirming a motive or theory of the case. A significant volume of content has circulated online about this case that has not been verified by police or established news organizations. This section separates that material out explicitly, so it is not mistaken for confirmed fact. Claims of a targeted attack. Multiple outlets, including People, have reported that police believe the shooting may have been targeted rather than random. This is a police assessment, not a confirmed motive. No specific reason for a targeting has been officially released. A pre-shooting altercation. Some early reporting referenced a video reportedly showing an altercation involving the Lamborghini at a gas station before the shooting. This detail should be treated with caution. Searches for corroborating coverage turned up gas station altercation videos connected to entirely separate, unrelated shootings in Florida. Not this case. Whether an altercation involving this specific vehicle and these specific individuals occurred at a gas station beforehand has not been independently confirmed through verified reporting at the time of this writing. A setup theory. Some social media posts and secondary blog-style sites have claimed, citing unnamed close friends, that Johnson was intentionally set up by an acquaintance. This claim has not been confirmed by police and should be treated as an unverified allegation, not an established fact. Cause of death details. Some accounts describe her as having been struck in the head. Others simply state she died of gunshot wounds without specifying the location of the injuries. The precise nature of her injuries has not been confirmed through an official source, such as a medical examiner's report. Timing of death. As noted above, accounts differ on whether she died at the scene or the following morning at the hospital. This is a detail investigators or family representatives would need to clarify officially. Profession details. At least one source described her additionally as a professional hairstylist, a detail not corroborated elsewhere. This should be treated as unconfirmed. The pattern here is a common one in the early days of a high-profile case involving a public figure. Verified facts from police and established broadcast outlets are limited and cautious, while secondary sites, aggregators, and social media fill in narrative gaps with claims that range from plausible to unsubstantiated. Anyone building a factual account of this case should track updates from primary law enforcement statements and established local news organizations, rather than aggregator sites, several of which appear to republish the same unverified claims from each other without independent sourcing. News of Johnson's death spread quickly across TikTok and Instagram, the platforms where she had built her following. Tributes from fans and other creators circulated widely in the hours and days following the shooting. Her song feature on Bend OVA was frequently referenced in these tributes, as it remained one of her most visible pieces of content outside of her lifestyle posts. At the same time, the case drew attention from local South Florida news outlets, entertainment news sites, and national outlets covering it as both a crime story and an entertainment story, given her public profile. This dual interest, true crime and celebrity news, has contributed to the volume and inconsistency of the coverage, since outlets with different editorial standards have published overlapping, but not identical versions of events. As of this writing, the following remain unresolved and are likely to define how the case develops. Who was driving or riding in the white BMW, and can it be recovered or identified through the surveillance footage investigators are reviewing? Was the attack premeditated and targeted at Johnson specifically, at one of the two men in the vehicle, or at the vehicle itself, given its high visibility and value? What, if anything, happened prior to the shooting that might explain a motive, including whether any altercation took place earlier that night? What is the current medical status of the two surviving occupants, and have investigators been able to interview them? Will Broward County or Miramar authorities release additional surveillance footage, ballistic evidence, or witness statements as the investigation progresses? This report draws on statements from Miramar Police Chief Delrish Moss as reported by WSVN7 News, additional reporting from People magazine and the Express Tribune, and cross-referenced coverage from several secondary entertainment and local news sites. Where sources conflicted or where claims could not be corroborated by an established outlet or an official police statement, that has been flagged explicitly rather than presented as settled fact. Given that the investigation is active, further official statements are expected, and details in this report may be superseded by later confirmed reporting. Did you find this case informative? If you want more true crime stories, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.